of Hezbollah and Hamas leaders last week, while the United States is moving military assets into the region to deter Iran and assist Israel in defending against a counter-strike. Intelligence assessments indicate that Iran is preparing to attack Israel from multiple angles, using its regional proxies to launch waves of missiles, rockets, and UAVs from Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and possibly Iran itself. But Israel is not just waiting for Iran to strike. In the last 24 hours, the IDF has carried out preemptive strikes on Hezbollah forces in Lebanon, and another high-level Hamas terrorist was eliminated in the Gaza Strip. The IDF has also begun to build outposts in the Netzar Valley in the Gaza Strip, as well as continuing the campaign to methodically destroy and dismantle the Hamas terror infrastructure. Meanwhile, the IDF and the Shin Bet are offering proof that an Al Jazeera journalist who was recently killed in the Gaza Strip was in fact a member of Hamas. Let's dive into the details. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is your Boots on the Ground report about what is happening in Israel on the 303rd day of the war with Iran. It's time to acknowledge that the primary enemy in this war is Iran, while Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and all the other terror militias in Iraq, Syria, and elsewhere are just pawns and proxies for Iran. With that in mind, Iran is threatening harsh revenge for last week's assassination in Tehran of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, while Hezbollah promises revenge for the assassination of the organization's senior leader Fouad Shukar in Beirut. The Houthis in Yemen are still very angry about the attack on the port of Hodeidah and are threatening to join in an Iranian strike against Israel. But despite all the rhetoric and threats, it's difficult to know exactly how the situation will play out. The assumption in Israel is that an attack is inevitable, but there is still uncertainty regarding the timing of the attack and especially its scope. Israel is preparing for a number of scenarios, including some very difficult ones. At the same time, discussions are already taking place about what the response should be to whatever Iran does. There are also discussions about ways that Iran's plans can be preempted and possibly even halted. However, Israeli security officials believe that Hezbollah is looking for an opportunity to make a major strike on Israel, and Hezbollah officials are brazenly declaring that they won't limit their attacks to military targets. But Iranian officials who are planning an attack on Israel have a lot of calculations to make, and it's clear that the deployment of US forces on the region and the coordination between Israel and its allies is having an effect on their plans. Ongoing discussions between Israeli and American defense officials are aimed at coordinating efforts to contain the Iranian moves and deter both Iran and Hezbollah. American military assets are being moved into the region, and discussions are also being held with other allies, including moderate Arab states, to mobilize the assets that will be needed to defend against Iran's expected attack. More geographically widespread and intense than the one that Iran launched in mid-April. Anyone who wants to understand what is happening right now and what might be about to happen next needs to understand a few key points right from the start. The state of Israel is currently fighting on several fronts and managing several different campaigns against different enemies. One is a regional campaign against Iran and its proxies, which is currently focused on response of the Shia axis led by Iran to the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh on Iranian soil. An additional campaign is focused on Hezbollah's expected response to the assassination of the senior military figure in Beirut, Fouad Shukar, who could lead to an escalation of the war inside